All right, good evening, everyone. Going to interrupt your food for a moment so we can get our program started. We want to thank everyone for being here. My name is Dan York. I'm the public address announcer for EMU Baseball, and it's my pleasure and my privilege to be here for our 7th leadoff dinner for the EMU baseball team. Excited to see everybody here in the building, all of our friends, all of our family, alumni, boosters. It's great to see everybody here for this amazing event. So we have a lot of items to get to on our program for today. Coach Eric Roof will have some words for us in just a little while. We'll have this year's recipient of the Ron Ostrike Distinguished Alumni Award coming up in a little while. There you go. Let's hear it for Vergie. And our keynote speaker, everybody knows him especially from this area, an all-star, a member of the Detroit Tigers, a 96 world champion, and the only Detroit Tiger ever to hit a ball over the left field wall at Tiger Stadium. Cecil Fielder is here today. Let's hear it for him. All right, to get things started, we'd like to recognize our title sponsor for this event, and that is Anthony and Rita Tomey. Let's hear it for them. Their generosity and support of EMU baseball has made tonight possible and a lot of other things. So at this time, we'd like Anthony and Rita, please stand up and be recognized for your contribution to the EMU baseball program. We'd also like to recognize our table sponsors for tonight, and we have a couple of folks here. Not everybody is here tonight, but thanks to Chris and Louise Holman. They are not here this evening. Also thanks to Jim Mulshay, not here today. But we want to thank the Moline family. They are one of our table sponsors here today, as well as, of course, the Tomey family. Thank you very much. And we do have a presentation from Coach Roof. So if both of you would like to make your way up here, both the Moline family and the Tomeys. Give you one at a time. We'd also like any alumni from the baseball team. Please stand up right now and be recognized. I know there's quite a few of you here. We thank you for your commitment, your continuing commitment to this program, which you gave to the program and which you continue to give to this program. All right, let's take a look at a video we have to set up your 2023 EMU baseball team. All right, let's put your hands together for your 2023 EMU baseball team. From St. Louis, Missouri, number 1, Cameron McCoy. From Lancaster, Ohio, number 2, Evan Sy. From Howell, number 3, Jackson Militaro. From New Waterford, Ohio, number 4, Cooper Vance. From Pentwater, Michigan, and number 5, Glenn Miller. From Richmond, Michigan, number 6, Hudson Davenport. From Essexville, Michigan, and number 7, Logan Hugo. From Stockton, Wisconsin, and number 8, Cole Wilcox. From Portage, Michigan, and number 9, Tyler Helgeson. From Fenton, number 10, Brendan Alford. From Hagerstown, Indiana, number 14, Dom Anderson. From Canton, number 15, Rising. From Tomball, Texas, number 16, Jeff Strike. From Mason, Ohio, number 17, Taylor Hopkins. From Howell, number 18, Adam Falinsky. From Livonia, number 19, Alex Forey. From Shelby Township, number 20, Ryan Lux. From Armada, number 21, Blake McRae. From Howell, number 22, Luke Russo. From Loveland, Ohio, number 23, Bobby Jones. From Farmington Hills, number 24, Kyron Humphrey. From Redding, California, number 25, Kyle Schroll. From Waterford, Ohio, number 26, Brock Knockberg. From Shelbyville, Indiana, number 27, Corey Taylor. From Plymouth, number 28, Aaron Dolney. From Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, number 30, Joe Crossi. From Rochester, Minnesota, number 31, Logan Malee. From Ross, Ohio, number 33, Thomas House. From Carmel, Indiana, number 34, Sam Reed. From Okeana, Ohio, number 35, Trevor House. From Highland, Michigan, number 36, Josh McCoy. From Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, number 38, Darren Kraft. From Smithton, Pennsylvania, number 39, Jared Beach. From Valley Center, Kansas, number 40, Zach Gillig. From Barnesville, Ohio, number 44, Jacob Jeffers. From Bluffton, Indiana, number 45, Kevin King. From Brunswick, Ohio, number 47, Josh Cross. From Roseville, number 48, Nick Shinna. From Joliet, Illinois, number 49, Dylan Wolf. And your 2022 Mid-American Conference Player of the Year from Milford, Ohio, number 41, Matt Burke. Let's hear it for your 2023 Eastern Michigan Eagle baseball team. All right, gentlemen, head on back to your seats so we can continue our program. And now I'd like to introduce the head coach of your EMU baseball team in his 4th year. Welcome to the podium, Eric Roof.
Thank you. How about that introduction right there by Russo? Where's Russo at? Where are you at? Dang, it feels great to be back here together. If we first off could just give a round of applause to our boys, the program, and a start of a great night. So if we could all get just one more round of applause for the boys. It's been 3 years since the last time we've been able to get back together. 1,085 days since the last time we had our leadoff dinner, and that was February 8th of 2020. So it's really great to have so many familiar faces back on campus to celebrate our season and to be here for tonight. Before I get started talking about the team and the year, I want to thank everyone for being here, number one. And there's a lot of people in this room that put this night together. A lot of hard work to put this night together, and I want to make sure I can acknowledge a lot of those people that are in this room. So first off, President Smith and his wife, Connie. President Smith and his wife, Connie, were at the Butler Series last year in 22. They were at the Bowling Green Series the year before, so 2-0. The last 2 times you've been out there. I've got an extra pair of jerseys in my bag if you want to come down there to Hoover with us. But I really appreciate y'all for... That's right. I really appreciate y'all for being here tonight. Our Director of Athletics and Vice President, Scott Weatherby. Scott's a big baseball player himself, played back in the day, and he was just nominated to the NCAA Division I Baseball Committee. What's that? Yeah. Same guy that, what I was going to say, you threw me off track right there. All we're looking for, if we don't win the MAC, is an at-large bid. At-large bid, that's all we're looking for. Andy Rowd, my direct boss. Recently promoted to the deputy AD as well, so congratulations, Andy. Very well deserved. We're very well deserved. Kathy Steiner. Kathy Steiner's in the back. Kathy's the one that's put tonight's the whole venue on, from the food to the decoration to the lights to the projector. Everything was because of her hard work. So Kathy, again, can't thank you enough for being here. Can't thank you for your help. Jessica Nedziba. Where's Jessica at? Stand up for us, Jessica. So again, Jessica basically worked by me side by side to put on this event. From helping out with the registration to making sure the silent auction items were all taken care of and everything in between. So thank you, Jessica, for your help. Greg and Alex Jewell, they're in the back. Go ahead and wave for us. They're part of our media relations team. They help out with all the Twitter, the tweets, the podcast, our broadcast games as well. All their hard work is for our guys, and I know our parents really appreciate it. The players really appreciate it. And I know it means a lot to me for all your guys' hard work, so thank you guys for being here. Our presenting sponsor for tonight's event, Anthony and Rita Tomey. Let's hear it up for that. Anthony pitched here back in the day, also played in the Tigers organization, Dodgers organization, now owns a ton of Jimmy John's. He's also a chicken guy, franchisee as well, owns 8 Mile Vodka, and born in Detroit. So, Anthony, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your support of the program. It means the world to me that you could be our presenting sponsor for tonight. Some other people in the room that I just want to make sure we put some faces with some names. When I talked to our guys earlier in the week, again, this leadoff dinner was just 3 years ago for the last time we've had it. And the players in this room, we've got 40 players in this room, only 6 of them were here just 3 years ago. So I want to make sure they also know who's in the room. Dan McLean, Senior Associate AD for Development. Dan? Jack Bruzewitz, President of the Championship Advisory Board, is in here tonight. Dan York, our MC for tonight. Where are you at, Dan? There we go. Steve King. Steve King's the man behind the camera. Wave to us, Steve. Our table sponsors, we mentioned them before, but I just want to make sure we get some recognition for those as well. The 2 that couldn't make it, Jim Molche, Chris and Luis Holman, and then the 2 that could be here, Tomey Group, LLC, and the Moline family. Thank you guys for your guys' support. In addition to the table sponsors, I want to thank the program sponsors. Inside that booklet, you'll see the program sponsors. So I really want to thank those people as well, and those that also supported a student-athletes meal. We talked about the alumni groups, a lot of them are up here today. We've got about 15 of you guys. At the end of the night, I want to make sure you guys get a picture with me and Cecil. And I want to make sure, I'm glad we announced you earlier, because I want to make sure our guys know who you are. It's important for me to know what it means for me, for you guys to be here. You guys are the ones that laid the foundation of the program. It's an honor to put on the uniform, and I thank you guys for everything you guys done. So thank you guys to our alum. Not only the alumni, the Diamond Club board members, there's several of them here. I'll go through it quick. Brandon White, Scott Barrett, Jeff Fergalini, Sam Ott, Kevin Choll, Colin Taylor, and Daniel Russell. These 7 guys help us raise money for the program each and every year. This past fall, we raised over $21,000, set a new record for our Diamond Club, and it was all because of you guys' help. So I appreciate you guys for doing that as well, and let's give it up for a round of applause for them as well. Jeff Vergalini, congratulations on winning this year's Ron Ostrike Alumnus of the Year. Jeff's son, Derek Vergalini, was in our program a couple years ago. Derek was a student manager and the director of ops, and I could see his love for the program came directly from you, and what it meant to you was passed on to him. Jeff's been here to help us out for this event, our golf outing, our alumni game, and everywhere in between. Jeff even traveled with us in 2017 on spring break and helped drive a church van so we could save some money with the program. If that doesn't show you the type of guy he is and how selfless he is to help the program out, let's hear it up for Jeff Vergalini. My direct staff, again, 3 years ago, some people weren't in this room, so I want to make sure everyone knows who some of my staff is. Luke Leviter, our athletic trainer, go ahead and stand up for us. Cameron Dietz, our strength and conditioning coach. Vanessa Roberts, our student manager. Where's Vanessa? She also helped out with tonight. Go ahead and stand up, Vanessa. And then now our coaching staff. So first we've got Coach Aaron Hill. Aaron's our recruiting coordinator and pitching coach. He's in the second year with our program. He's coming to us from Ashland University. Things to know about Aaron, he's intense. He's intense. He holds those guys to the high standard. He's also a winner. Make no mistake about it. He's a winner. He's developed guys everywhere he's gone. He's won everywhere he's gone. And oh, by the way, his first year in the program, he set the school record for strikeouts, him and his staff. So let's hear it up for Aaron. Jonathan Roof. Jonathan's our infield coach, works also with our hitters, another tireless worker that is relentless about helping the team out. Last year he helped lead an offense that led the league in home runs. It was third in program history as well. 81 home runs in 56 games. So there was some fireworks last year. So Jonathan, thank you for all your hard work. Casey Wyla. Casey's in his first year of the program. He works with our outfielders and our hitters. I got a phone call from Glenn Miller earlier this summer. Casey coached Glenn this summer and said, hey, if we're looking for a guy, I've got the perfect guy for you. He knows the game. He's already helped me with his swing. He'd be a perfect fit. Super lucky to have Casey. I'm excited what is in store this spring with you on our side. Gene Roof. Go ahead and stand up, Dad. So believe it or not, my father's already in the third year with the program. In 2020, he retired from the Detroit Tigers after 36 years within their organization. Played in the big leagues, coached the big leagues, drafted out of high school, won a World Series with the Cardinals in '82. Super fortunate to have my dad in the dugout, around the guys, talking the game, speaking the game. Him and my mom still live in Kentucky, and they make the drive back and forth just to come up here and help us out. And out of those 56 games, he must have been at least 40 of them. So, Mom and Dad, I appreciate everything you guys have done for me, and I appreciate you guys being here tonight. And because of my dad, the reason why we're privileged to have tonight's keynote speaker, Cecil Fielder. Cecil needs no introduction. You can read the back of his baseball card. Everyone knows, especially if you're over 30 years old, you know who Cecil is. A couple things that I want to point out, though. My family's known Cecil since the early 90s. And as a little kid growing up, watching big leaguers, it was basically you were watching God right in front of your eyes. We tried to emulate his swing. I could never hit the ball as hard as you or as far as you, but we tried. We wanted to be just like you. It means the world to me that you're here. So let's hear it up for Cecil real quick. Two quick stats with Cecil. So Cecil led the league in home runs with 51 home runs. I believe it was 1990 or 1991. And the person that finished second in home runs that year was Ryan Sandberg at 40 home runs. He beat the second place leader in all of Major League Baseball by 11. 20% of the home runs. Second stat, he's one of 3 players ever to lead the American League in runs batted in the American League 3 consecutive years in a row. Ty Cobb, 1900s, Babe Ruth, 1920s, and Cecil Fielder, 1990s. Wild. Now finally, the most important person in the room, my beautiful bride, Devin. Go ahead and stand up for me. We just got married 8 days ago. Friday, January 20th, we get married. A week later, we've got a banquet. If that's not true love, I don't know what is. I appreciate all your love and support for me. For you to be able to go on the same journey with me in my profession, in my career, the nights away from you, the phone calls that I have to take during dinner, missing special occasions. I love you, and I'm so lucky to be your husband. right, now a little bit about this year's team. We've got 40 guys on the team this year. It's the deepest team we've ever had. All right, with that depth, you see a lot of competition. There's competition within our program each and every single day, on the field and off the field. It's a competition to see who gets the locker room first. It's a competition to see who gets the practice first. It's a competition to see who stays the longest, who gets the weight room the earliest, who puts on the most strength, who puts on the most muscle. Also with that competition, you also have some optionality. You can pick and choose your spots when you go into defending a weekend. You can play matchups. You got a base runner off the bench. You got a bat off the bench. But again, it's a great group of guys. Out of those 40 guys, 20 guys are in their first full year with the program. The landscape of college athletics is different now than ever before. You're seeing 50% of the roster across the board being brand new. So we got 20 new players, 20 returning players. Of those 20 new players, 6 of them are freshmen. Jackson Militello, Hudson Davenport, Cooper Vance, Kyron Humphreys, Sam Reed, and Josh McCoy. These 6 guys have energy, have excitement, and it's infectious around the rest of the team. So super lucky to have those 6 guys in our program. 7 junior college transfers. Those 7 junior college transfers include Logan Moline, Cole Wilcox, Blake McCrae, Jagger Jeffries, Dylan Wolf, Gavin King, Joe Grassi. These 7 junior college players provide instant college experience, and most importantly, they all came from winning programs. 4 transfer portals players that we have on this year's team. We've crushed the transfer portal. We're going to continue to crush the transfer portal. Brock Narker's coming to us from Wright State. All he's done at Wright State was win championships. Bobby Jones coming to us from Xavier. Winning program, Cincinnati boy. Count me in. Josh Cross is coming to us from Toledo. All he did last year was hit .350 in the summer with 7 jacks. Switch hitter, both sides of the plate. We saw what happened when we got Matt Kirk from Toledo just last year. Kyle Schrodel, all Kyle's done the last 2 years, has had 40 home runs over those last 2 years, 130 RBIs. Again, experienced guys, winning programs. The other 3 new guys for their first full year were mid-semester transfers last year, Grant Rising, Jared Bache, and our 2-sport athlete, quarterback, right-handed pitcher, Cam McCoy. So those are the new guys. Those are the new guys right there. Yeah, we'll hear it up for them. On the pitching, on the returning side, we've got 10 pitchers. Out of those 10 pitchers, we're returning 66% of the innings pitched and 66% of the total strikeouts. So even though 50% of them are returning guys, you can easily see a lot of the impact guys are coming back are those returning pitchers, and we'll get to the position players. 3 guys are currently coming off of rehab: Dominic Anderson, Brendan Alvord, Alex Forey. 4 starters on the bump last year are returning on the mound: Thomas House, Adam Felinski, Luke Russo, Nick Chittum. 3 guys returning from the bullpen: Zach Gillig, Trevor House, and Tyler Helgeson. Those are the 10 returning pitchers. On the position player side, we returned 5 out of the 9 starting position players. We returned, in my mind, the best catcher in our league, the best catcher in the state, one of the best catchers in our area. We're also returning a 4-year starting shortstop. You'll never hear that again once COVID's over. A 4-year starting shortstop is returning. Oh, and by the way, if that wasn't enough, like you heard Dan say earlier, we're returning the Player of the Year in our conference as well. 3 returning catchers: Aaron Dolney, Ryan Lux, Jad Ostrike. These guys are super athletic. 5 position players returning: Darren Kraft, Corey Taylor, Evan Sines, Glenn Miller, and Taylor Hopkins. And the 2 returning outfielders, we have Logan Hugo and the final player, Matt Kirk. A little bit of the Matt Kirk story, because not everyone has heard it. You heard he was the Player of the Year. He's an unbelievable human being. He's an MBA. He's finishing up his MBA as we speak. Each and every year, you see something as a coach that you've never seen before, and it shocks you and amazes you, and I think it's important for us to kind of talk about it. Matt was looking for a home in August of 21. We talk, we call each other back and forth. Eventually, I say, you know what, Matt? We'll give you an opportunity. We'll give you an opportunity to come into our program. And he said, yeah, no problem. As a coach or as a player, that's all you can ask for. Take an opportunity and run with it. In 21, he played for Toledo, one of our teams in our conference. He had 17 hits in 2021. Last year, he had 17 home runs. On our last game of the year, he led the country in doubles with 25. Unbelievable year. Our guys get excited about having 100 hits in a career. It's a pretty good feat. They get excited about 100 hits. All Matt needed to do to reach the triple-digit mark was have 79 hits in one season. In typical Matt Kirk fashion, Matt needed 3 hits on the final game of the season. Matt Kirk, all he did was had 4. So what Matt doesn't realize is the conference passes out a Player of the Year trophy. We did some trophies and some awards in the fall, but that trophy is set in my office since May of last year, and I've had that trophy in my office until tonight, January 28th, 2023, to give you the recognition, to give you the acknowledgement that you deserve. So after I'm done talking to you, I've got this MAC Player of the Year 2022 replica trophy for you. I love where our guys are at right now. Our guys have worked extremely hard since we've been back on campus in August. But I also realize every baseball team in the country loves where they're at today. Records are 0-0. There are no stats. So we've got some work to do. Boys, gentlemen, we got some work to do. We just finished our second practice out of 18 practice before we head down south. We'll start playing games in 3 weeks. And just like our players have some work to do, as a leader and head coach of the program, I've got some work to do. I'm going in my 9th year here with the program, and my number one goal when I came here was to put together a hitting building, all right, for our guys to get after it. Currently, we're allowed 16 hours in our bubble. The NCAA allows us 20 hours. 16 hours a week we get in the bubble. The NCAA allows us 20. Right now, we are trying to get as many things accomplished in those 16 hours, but we could use some extra time. We could use some extra reps. So basically, you have 80% of the input for hoping for 100% of the output or the results. Our guys have done a great job in the classroom. I'll get to that in a second. But if our guys have class in the afternoon, they miss practice, and they will miss practice. And when they miss practice, we don't have the ability for them to get back into the bubble to get after it. If you look at the competition in our league, I'm not talking the Power Fives, I'm just looking at the conference in our league. 6 of the teams have the facilities and resources they need to continue to have success. Central Michigan's got a hitting building. Ball State's got a place to hit whenever they want. Ohio, Toledo, Kent State, Miami all have access or a hitting building there. So every time I get a chance to speak from here on out, since it's my 9th year, I'm going to keep pounding on my chest on how proud I am of our guys and what they've been able to accomplish. And I'm going to continue to go to bat for these guys to try to find ways to raise some money to help our guys get after it. Think of the things we've accomplished this past year. Led the league, or set the school record for strikeouts. Led the league in home runs. Player of the Year. 5 guys drafted the last 6 years. Our guys could use that extra help. So again, I'm just super proud of these guys. These guys have got after it since we've been back on campus. This past semester, they had a 3.49 cumulative GPA. 3.49. And now that we're finally past the pandemic, we're back out in the community. We're helping out in the community. We're giving back. We were at Plymouth earlier this fall with the Miracle League. We're going to continue to be out. It's a part of our responsibility, gentlemen, when you put this uniform on. Again, we're fired up. We're ready to go. Here in about 3 weeks, we'll be opening up down in Hoover, Alabama against Northern Kentucky. Again, I'm looking forward to the rest of the night. It's going to be a great night. I can't wait to hear from Fergie. I can't wait to hear from Cecil. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Love you guys, and most importantly, go Eagles.
right, it's now time for the Rhino Strike Distinguished Alumni Award, presented each year to an alumni of our beloved baseball program, a deserving individual whose involvement and dedication to EMU baseball still thrives even though their playing days are behind them. An incredible advocate for Eastern Michigan baseball, Jeff Vergolini played at EMU from 1985 to 1988. It was on the 1987 team that was last coached by Hall of Famer Ron Ostrike. As a catcher, he played alongside teammates like Chris Hoyle, who went on to play 10 seasons in Major League Baseball. Jeff has been instrumental in leading EMU baseball alumni efforts and was the original founding member of the Diamond Club in 2011. He has served as a critical member of the EMU baseball family and continues to make events such as the EMU Alumni Game, the annual golf outing, and the Leadoff dinner here tonight possible. Since his playing days, Jeff has helped raise over $110,000 for Eastern Michigan baseball. Let's hear it for that. And let's bring to the podium our award winner for this year. Again, raised $110,000, Jeff Vergolini.
Wow, this is, I'm very honored to be up here tonight. I want to thank the coaching staff, Eric, Jonathan, Aaron, Casey. I know we haven't met, but looking forward to meeting you and seeing all the great things you're going to help the program with. The Diamond Club, I want to thank you guys for recognizing me. Scotty, Sam, Kevin. I know Brandon White's not here tonight, but you know we have meetings every now and again, and you know we're just trying to get everybody back involved with the program after they graduate, and have some fun and raise a little bit of money. So I want to thank the Diamond Club. I want to thank my kids for being here tonight. Derek, Shelby, Emily. You guys mean the world to me, you know that. I know you put up with a lot of my crap, but thank you for supporting me, okay? The last person I want to thank is probably, and probably one of the most important people or person, and I wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for that guy, Ron Ostrike. Jad, your grandfather, he saw something in a little 155-pound light-hitting catcher, and it changed my life, shaped my life. This program has meant everything to me. This university has meant everything to me. I wouldn't be where I am today without it. And I'm just gonna share something for you players, just so you can kind of keep this in mind as you go through your playing days and as you go through your time here at Eastern. You know, build the relationships with people, with your teammates, with your professors, with your coaches, with your friends. My best friends are people that I went to Eastern Michigan with to this day, 35 years, ago. My career all started because I was basically an EMU baseball player. I'm in the banking industry. I've been in banking 33 years, but I forged a rapport with a accounting professor while I was here, who loved baseball. And when I was graduating, a former player reached out to this professor and was looking for an employee to start at National Bank of Detroit. I'm just going back to 1989. This accounting professor referred me to this person, and lo and behold, I started my career in banking in 1989, and I'm still doing that today. So I guess, what I really say is just cherish the time you're here, build the relationships with the people that you're with, and life can take you far. It really can. So with that, thank you very much.
All right, let's direct our attention to our video boards again behind me as we have highlights of our keynote speaker.
Long drive, deep left field. This is on the roof, over the roof, gone. Home run for Cecil. What a clout. That's only the third ball hit over the roof in Tiger Stadium, bounced over. No one has cleared it during the game in the fly. Harmon Killebrew, Frank Howard, and now Cecil Fielder have bounced him over the roof in left field.
Tonight, Eastern Michigan Baseball is proud to welcome Cecil Fielder as this year's keynote speaker. Fielder, a 14-year Major League Baseball veteran, had stints with the Toronto Blue Jays, Detroit Tigers, New York Yankees, Anaheim Angels, and Cleveland Indians. A 3-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger, 2-time American League home run leader, and 3-time American League RBI champion, Fielder is one of the most recognizable players of his era. He's the only Tiger to ever hit a home run over the left field roof of Tiger Stadium, and finished his career with 319 home runs, 1,008 RBIs, and a 1996 World Series title.
Well, Alex Jewell took everything I was going to say away. Here's our keynote speaker, the great Cecil Fielder. Very nice to meet you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Very humbling. I appreciate all the cheers. I always say the best time of my life was spent right here, in Motown. I mean, I had such an incredible surrounding of people, not just on the field, which those guys that I played with over the years I cherished, and I still cherish to this day. I still talk to all my teammates. Matter of fact, I talked to Gibby last week. So those guys are always going to be special to me. And the thing that Jeff just mentioned is so very true. Those relationships, they last for a lifetime. A lot of us as athletes, we pretty much think we're bulletproof. We think that no matter what, we're going to be all right. Nothing's going to bother us. I tell people all the time that when you go through things off the field, you really don't speak about them as an athlete. You keep them inside and just go with it. But a lot of us have our issues. We lost some guys. We have our health issues. But, we come out of it, hopefully. And, a lot of things don't mean as much anymore when you go through those things. You kind of let a lot of things that used to bother you not bother you anymore because you've had some life changes. So, again, what Jeff said, those relationships become real keen to what you're doing in your life because you don't know what's going to happen the next day. Somebody might not be here tomorrow. So you make sure teammates, they become special people. You know, I lost a dear friend, Tony Phillips, who I had played my whole career here in Detroit with. You know, we lost him too young, you know, in his mid-50s, and he's gone. But again, you don't know what's going to happen down in the future. So you make sure the relationships you make right here in college, which you got to enjoy it because this is the time of your life. But your commitment to this university as players, you have to be ready to burn the midnight oil. You got to burn the oil. You got to try to be the best you can be every single day. Because that's the way I played the game. And the way I used to go to the ballpark is some of those days I wasn't feeling well. Some of those days I should have took days off, but I didn't. And the reason I didn't was because of my teammates. I took it upon myself to make sure my teammates who hit in front of me, Lou Whitaker, Alan Trammell, Kirk Gibson, Travis Fryman, those guys were going to get something good to hit if I was in the lineup. Even if I really wasn't there, if I was in that lineup, they were going to get a good pitch to hit. So again, it's not about you. You know, I tell people this all the time. I had some great career stats. I had some great years, but it wasn't about me. It was about team. It was about team. You know, I tell people all the time when I was young, the game of baseball really wasn't a big part of what I did. I wasn't really digging baseball because basically baseball season in high school was a time for me to maybe holler at a couple of the cuties running around campus, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm keeping it real. I played basketball. I love basketball. Man, I love basketball. I played 4 years of varsity basketball. I was a San Gabriel Valley Player of the Year, All-State, all of that in basketball. And I played point guard. 4 years. I was a 4-year starter. I played football, 4-year starter in football. But I took my recruiting trips in football because everybody wanted me to play football. So I said, well, I'm going to take my trips. I'm going to enjoy it. And maybe I will play football. So UCLA, SC, Oklahoma, I went to some major schools on my recruiting trips. But my last trip, I went to USC, and they had this guy named Anthony Munoz. He's probably the biggest individual I'd ever seen up to that point. And I played middle linebacker, and for some reason, I was going to have to come into contact with this cat every single play. So I went home, man. I told my mom, I said, Mom, you know, I don't know about football. I think I better try to do something else. She said, well, son, what are you going to do? You know, all these schools want you to go to school, and I can't pay for you to go to college. So I said, Mom, I'm going to start playing baseball again. And I started playing baseball my junior year, and I just worked. I just worked as hard as I could. I played baseball when I was like 8, 9 years old. But as a junior in high school, I started playing baseball again. I was like, I can do this, you know. My coach, John Romano, I still talk to him this day, my high school coach. We had no lights on our field. Now, this is back when you young men have had great ballparks and all that. You probably played that when you was in high school. But we had a little light behind home plate. I'd stand at home plate in the dark with that little light, and he'd throw me balls in the dark, and I'd try to hit them. Now that, my friend, took some focus to try to hit the ball in the dark. And I did that every single day that I was in baseball season. I would hit at that stadium. When everybody else was gone, this little old Italian man would be out there throwing me batting practice. And I'm telling you, I took that work ethic with me from high school, and I generated that as I became a major league player, but also in the minor leagues. I didn't stay in the minor leagues long. I played A-ball, AA, and I was called to the big leagues July 9th, 1985. So I played 2.5 years of minor league baseball, and I was in the big leagues. But the work ethic, the commitment, I always talk about how people talk about Michael Jordan and how he gave pretty much everything he had. I think Mike, and I'm going to say this because I think I know this, Mike really gave up his family for his family, meaning that the NBA family, the Chicago Bull family, was his real family. That was the number one thing in his life. And still to this day, he probably say the same thing, because he was so committed to winning. He didn't lose either. He won a lot. But I told him he should have never put on a baseball uniform. It was disgusting. But to the players, that's the commitment it takes. If you really want to be who you think you want to be, you got to burn the midnight oil. You think you can, you can. You think you can't, you can. You're right. But if you want to be somebody in this game, it's going to take more than you just putting on the uniform and going to practice. You're going to have to do something extra. You got to find a way to be better than the guy that you're going to face today. You got to find a way to be better than the guy you're going to face tomorrow. Because this cycle of baseball isn't a once-a-week game. This is an everyday game. You got to figure it out. You know, I told my son the other day, and this is just how I like to explain it to my son, who's going to be an 18-year-old in March. And in 2 months, you're going to be a grown-ass man. Now, when I was 18, my mama told me to get out. And her door was one way in, one way out. And once you leave, you ain't coming back. I took that to heart because I believe my mama. My mama was old school. She didn't play either. She didn't play. I got more whippings, I think, when I was a kid than that. I don't know why. I wasn't that bad a kid, but I got my ass towed up. But it made me a better person, you know. I got an ass whooping, it made me a better person. But I think, you know, me as a player, I look back on them days when I played, and I think the one thing that, made me just do everything I could to be successful was that I didn't want to disappoint my mother. I still feel that way. Everything I do is all about my mother. You know, every time I turn around, you know, she's on the telephone. I'm talking to her pretty much every day. And that, to me, was my driving force, because at the end of the day, once you do so many things and you're doing it well, you know, you got to have something that makes you keep going. You know, even when I won the World Series, I thought that was going to be it, but baseball keeps churning the body. You wanted that camaraderie, that competition. That I yearned for that. I yearned to see Kirby Puckett on the other side, and I yearned to beat him. You know, I wanted to beat him. I had great friends in the game of baseball that were on other teams, but you know, we were great friends outside the lines. Once we got in the lines, he was my enemy. I was going to beat him. I was going to find a way. And I think that's how life is. It's not always about winning, but it's about the competition. You got to compete. Every single day it's a competition. You know, I get up in the morning, I tell my wife this every day. You know, why do you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and start the coffee machine? I said, well, sometimes I can't sleep. You know, you get old, you start waking up early. But sometimes I need that little time to just sit there and think about things by myself. Because sometimes, you know, there's so many people, and young men, you got to understand this. There's so many people that are here for you, that think about you on a daily basis that you don't even understand. Your mother and father, to the day you die, are going to be thinking about you. And you have to understand, I told my son this, and I tell you, I talk to my son a lot like my mother and father talked to me. I said, son, you have to show appreciation sometime. You know, I said, your mother and I and your stepmother, we do everything for you to give you the opportunity to be successful. And that's all I can give you, because I can't go play for you. I can't go out there and make the hit. I can't make the tackle. You got to do that on your own. And it's nobody else's fault anymore. Because at 18, you're grown. It's on you. And I look at my son as I, you know, was coming up. And we're about the same. He's a little bigger than me. He's a big guy. But at the end of the day, these kids, at least my kids, have an opportunity more than others, I should say, because of the fact. We talk about Prince. I mean, the kid was running around at Tiger Stadium with these two boys here when they was, 8, 9, 10 years old. I mean, that's a privilege. But you got to respect that privilege. You guys are getting an opportunity to play in college. It's a privilege. This isn't something that was given to you. You earned it. But again, for you to be able to go to the next level, you got to keep yearning to get better. Parents, boosters, presidents, everybody in this room, I don't care who you are. If you ain't getting better, you ain't doing it right. If you ain't getting better, you're not doing it right. Because what? Life is more than just today. It's the future. It's you guys growing up to be strong young men. More to me, that means more to me that my young kids become big, strong men than it is for them they don't have to. If he makes it, he makes it. But if he doesn't, hey, so what? But he's going to be a man. He's going to be able to take care of his family. He's going to be able to go on and be a successful person because of the fact that I ain't giving you everything. I'm going to give you the opportunity to be successful, but you got to earn it yourself. Because that's the way I was raised. I was raised, if you don't want it, I ain't giving it to you. And that's the way I think our young kids should be raised today. You guys you get the opportunity to be successful, you got to keep making strides to get better. And that goes for everybody in this room. We all got to get better. No matter if it's in life, no matter if it's in sports, we're going to have to get better because that's what it's all about. We got to help somebody. I love the fact that Eric said you guys are in the community. I was big on that. Because I felt that my community here in Detroit, I mean, these folks, they love me to death. I did a lot of stuff here that, you don't have to always, tell people what you do, but you do it because you want to do it. I remember one year Willie Horton was running the police athletic league, and the kids running around with the police athletic league, and Willie said, son, he always called me son. He called me son to this day. He said, son, I need some baseball equipment. Okay, what you need, Willie? I need gloves, bats, ball, I need anything. So I had opportunity. I was with Pony at the time. Well, Pony just brought a truckload of stuff and gave it to him. So those are the type of things that makes me feel good because, number one, I was one of those kids before. I was one of those kids that probably needed a glove, needed a pair of shoes, needed a baseball bat. Those are the things I feel so good about. And I tell people all the time, if it wasn't for me playing here in Detroit and getting an opportunity to go to New York and play, I don't know if I would have been fulfilled if I didn't have an opportunity to play for a World Series ring. That's what we play for. That's the ultimate goal. So when I get to New York, which was a shock that I went to New York anyway, my teammates, it was unbelievable because the players we had, so we had me and Tino Martinez at first base. We had Pat Kelly and Mariano Duncan at second, the kid Jeter at short, Wade Boggs, Hall of Famer, Grandma called him Liquor Hayes at third, Tim Raines, Hall of Famer in left, Darryl Strawberry out there, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, Joe Girardi catching, Jorge Posada catching, Dwight Gooden, David Cone, Andy Pettit. I mean, you name it. Come on. We were the best team in baseball. We played like it, too. And I think that was a thing that, over the course of that year that we worked on. And we said, if we play today, we win today. That's it. So if we won for 6 innings, right? If we were leading in 6 innings, 7-8, Mariano Duncan, 9th inning, Wetland, game's over. Game's over. So you figure we go, and the team that we played in the World Series, the Atlanta Braves, they have 3 Hall of Fame pitchers on that team. You got Maddox, you got Smoltz, and you got Glavine. But again, they went up on us. They beat us the first 2 games of the series. And Mr. Steinbrenner says, comes and talks to Joe Torre and says, just bring the broom out. They're going to sweep us. Joe tells Mr. Steinbrenner, no, we're going to go to Atlanta and we're going to win 3 and come back home and win game 6. And that's exactly how it went down. And the reason that I say that is because that team believed. And, you know, I've played a lot of baseball and I've been on some bad teams. And I always felt that I believed every day that we were going to have an opportunity to win. But that Yankee team was just so different. Every individual on that team knew exactly what they were supposed to do. And I was talking to the young men earlier today, and that's a really big part of success. If your team can understand at each position ordered in the batting lineup, each position on the field, if they know exactly what they're supposed to do, that team is going to be better. It's just going to be better. And we had that type of team. We had this kid at shortstop. I said that he probably had the ugliest swing that I ever seen in my life, but that was 34 hits later, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So this game is such an incredible game because it's so much different than the other sports. This is the only game that I know of that you can fail and be successful. You know, there's not a lot of things in life that you can be 3 out of 10 and be a superstar. There's just not a lot of things you can do. So at the end of the day, gentlemen, and I love talking to the players and I love speaking to the kids to give them that motivation to be better. I think that's a big part of what I've been able to do over the course of my career once I left the field. Just the, just the conversations that I've been able to have with so many kids. You know, so many kids that were, 17, 18 years old that used to come to the gym and hit with me and were able to get to the big leagues. I told folks all the time, them kids, if you can't come sit down with me and talk baseball and get a little bit of knowledge, that's your fault. Because I'm here for you. If you really want to know what it's going to take to get you to that next level, I'm here for you. And I think, what Eric has been able to get going here, what I seen out on the field in the bubble today is that these kids got that burning desire. You can tell. You can tell when the kid really wants to play the game of baseball. You can tell that a kid just don't want to put their uniform on. I used to tell all, in Toronto, they were big on how people looked in the uniform. We had great looking guys. I said, man, that uniform don't do nothing. That uniform don't hit. That uniform don't do nothing but get dirty. And if that's what you're looking for, you got the wrong one, because I don't look good in the uniform. I can't make it look good. And you know what? I just can't. But I'm going to tell you what, that pitcher out on that bump going to know who's here. I'm going to make sure he knows I'm in the building. And that's what it's all about. It's all about going out there and competing. And one thing that I can give you, gentlemen, before I leave this dais is that if you want to be a Major League Baseball player, you got to do the extra. You got to burn that midnight oil. You got to get on that tee, figure it out, keep those hands inside the ball, hit that ball up the middle, drive in that little 2-out base hit, that run. You got to do the little things. The big things are going to happen. I used to tell people all the time, we play 162 games. I can't hit a home run every day, but I can try to get a ribby every day. I tried a couple times. I almost made it a couple times, but it's hard to do, but I tried. But that's the thing. If you ain't trying, and there was a saying, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But we had a lot of guys cheating. And we still got a lot of guys cheating. They trying to get to that hall. They cheating. But it's all good. You can cheat if that's what you got to do. I ain't mad at you. But, boy, I tell you, some bodies changed when that Mitchell report came out. Lord have mercy. I tell you one quick story, then I will get out of here because I had a kid, Calix Crab, who hit with me down in Atlanta when I was living in Atlanta. So he had started out playing with Prince in Milwaukee, and he got traded to the San Diego Padres. So he was with me, and he really was hitting the ball well. So he went into spring training, and he made the team in spring training. So me and a couple friends flew out to San Diego. This is his first big league game. So we flew out there with Calix, and Calix is doing his business outside. And I see this guy running across the field coming to see me, and I'm like, who the heck is this? It was Jeff Bagwell. He was about 4 sizes smaller. I said, what the hell happened to you? Again, you know, it ain't my business, but I'm just saying. It ain't my business, I'm just saying. But again, I just want to say thank you. I wanted to come because, you know, Gino Roof is a big part of my success in Detroit. This guy, every time I asked him to get on the bump and throw me batting practice, he was always there for me. These two kids, I mean, they ran around my son more than I ran with my son back in them days. They was always around each other. So this was important for me to be here, to show my support. And I think what he is trying to do, get his team the opportunity to have a place here on campus that he can get his work in that he needs to do, because these kids deserve it. They put in hard work. They're doing everything they have to do. And I think it's an obligation on the school and everybody involved to try to get this team, because baseball is always the odd sport out. They don't ever get what football gets, ever. And I think that's kind of a travesty because of the fact that these kids, they go out there and they do what they got to do every single day, just like them guys do on the football field. And I think a lot of times baseball gets overlooked. But again, this program is going somewhere. And I'm going to tell you, just like Dion said, we coming. Thank you.
That was amazing, wasn't it? All right, before we wrap this up, we want to remind you the silent auction is open, and that will stay open for a little while, so we remind you to stick around to be a part of that. Again, we want to thank Kathy Steiner for everything she did to help put this together, as well as the Baseball Diamond Club, and their thankless efforts in planning and organizing everything here today. Current EMU baseball players are now going to make their way to some long tables, and they'll be signing autographs of scheduled posters if you are so inclined to want to do that. I think it's Coach Roof is going to come up and be the one that's going to give the information on the silent auction when the time comes. Is that correct? All right. Well, again, thank you so much for all being here. Thank you, Mr. Fielder. That was amazing. And EMU have an amazing season in 2023. Thanks for coming, folks.